G'day and welcome to the GameFace footy show for the Southern Football Netball League. This is Division 1, where it all starts and it all ends, apparently, as far as Lockers is concerned. Here we are at where it all starts and ends too, at GameFace HQ, isn't it, Will? This is the place to be in Studio 1. How are you, mate?
Very good. Why would you want to be anywhere else? Good to see you, Robbo.
It's good to see you, and it's good to see you too, Lockers. How are you, mate?
Good to be here, guys, again. Good to be here.
All right, let's go through the top stories. Cheltenham heading to the bye on top of the ladder. They'll be happy little chappies down there. Bentley charging towards the top 5. Fian on fire as the Dingoes demolish Morty, and final spots on the line as the ladder tightens up. Will, what an exciting weekend of football it was.
Absolutely, mate. They were cracking contests all over it and looking forward to getting stuck into it. First cab off the rank, Cheltenham defeated East Malvern. They came from behind 11-10-76 to 7-8-50. Another disappointing loss for the Panthers, Lockers.
It was. I went to this game, got there for the start, so look, would have said at half time, East Malvern by how far? 20 points up. Unfortunately, Jackson Barclay did his ACL right on the halftime sort of siren, so you actually thought this is going to be pedestrian. But Chelt, third quarter, came out to play. I actually think East Malvern only kicked 2 points in the whole second half, so really disappointing for them. You can officially say they're under the pump.
The premiership quarter, isn't it, that third quarter? You've got to come out after half-time and get it going, get a run into it. East Malvern, though, they've got really good players right across the board, but Cheltenham, where's it coming from? Because I spoke to those guys, a couple of those guys, before the season started, and they were chock full of confidence. They knew that they were going to do something special this year, and it looks like it's going to be. Exactly
right. I mean, they've put together a pretty good list, and they've been hampered with a few key injuries. But if they get if they had a full complement to choose from, would you give them the flag now? It'd be an interesting conversation.
2 words: young kids.
There's a few good ones in there, aren't there?
Kids. They'll take it a long way. And they had a couple missing actually on the weekend. A couple of them got called up for Sandy Dragons, but young kids, enthusiasm, run. They learn. They don't worry about making mistakes. They just go again and go again. So, they've got the right mix at the moment. Really good.
If you were the coach against Cheltenham at the moment, you're coming in to play them this week, a team that's chock full of confidence, and we know that football's a running game these days. You move it fast, you're going to be okay, and if you've got that confidence, nothing's going to stop you. If you're the coach against them, what do you do? How do you stop that?
You've got to deny them the corridor. They go into the corridor under every single chance they get the footy. They'll turn it over, but you've got to really make sure you own the corridor against them, or if not, they'll just chop you up because they can go each way. Their skill level's good. I was even commented to someone in the crowd in their warm-up. They just didn't miss a target for 5-10 minutes of their warm-up. But they'll hit that trigger kick into the middle. Really dangerous when they get there.
Which team plays the better finals brand of football? We know that it tightens up. We get a lot of tackling going on in bigger bodies. Older heads sometimes prevail in finals, or mostly they prevail in finals. If it was finals now, who would you go for? I mean, it's early, it's halfway through the season, I know that, and I understand there's a lot to be learned between now and the end of the year, but like I say, the tackling wins your finals.
Absolutely. I'll still stick with my prediction early, Will. St Paul's. St Paul's and Chelt are both quick, and that's their key. The other side's a little bit uncertain about their leg speed. As much as they've got bigger bodies, they've got to be able to win the footy back. Chelt have proven this year so far they're hard. They won against Port Colts in the small ground. St Paul's a reigning premier. They've just put themselves in a really good position for the second half of the year. So they've got something a little bit different the other sides haven't got, speed.
Will, any final words on this game?
Cheltenham, the real deal, and I think we've got a couple of question marks over East Malvern as well, but we might get to them a little bit later in the show, Robbo.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the other results. St Paul's 15-10-100 defeated Oakley 9-10-64. Talk to us about this game, Will.
A bit of a slow start for St Paul's, but they really came to play in that second term. I think they kicked 8 goals in that second term and really put Oakley to the sword. Kremborg, the reigning BNF winner, 2-time BNF winner, looks like he's in some fantastic form. BOG again, Lockers.
The Ellis medalist, he might win 3 in a row.
Possible.
Unprecedented in Southern footy. So he's playing really good footy. Harry Hunt, he's kicked 8 goals or 9 goals in the last 2 games, so 5 again on the weekend. So they're dangerous, no doubt. Playing good footy.
The other game there, Hyatt 11-5-77, defeated by Port Melbourne 23-8-146. This is what we thought would happen. That's a massive score though for Port Melbourne. They go 4-3.
Yep.
Looking okay, middle of the table. What are their chances like as we come on? You can see that Hyatt are no chance at all, but Port Melbourne's certainly a chance there, aren't they?
They're coming along okay. I mean, they're coming off a bit of a low base, but
That was a whack. Little clip. The Hyatt.
Hey. Takes no prisoners, that's Robbo. Port Melbourne obviously they finished a bit further down the ladder than they would have liked last year, and They're doing really, really well this season. A couple of key recruits. Their forward line particularly potent. Tom Harley booted 5. They've got Tom Nichols in there kicking goals, and Lockie Harris outside at the moment. He's got a few work commitments, but geez, that's a potent forward line if they get it all fit and firing. And they're looking the goods for mine. Port Melbourne probably a real good chance to play finals footy, I would have thought.
They keep saying second half of the year they'll get better and better. So yeah, but they said that last year and they didn't win a game in the second half of the year. So time will tell. Time will tell.
All right.
As a host of a show, you have to remain on the fence, sit on the fence and be benign all the time. There's one club in Australia that I'm not going to remain benign for. Anyway, moving on to other results. Bentley 9-9-63 defeated St Kilda City 6-8-44. Tight tussle all afternoon. Bentley only able to put them away in the final term, Will.
Yeah, and very good performance from Bentley. Had a couple of injuries. Colacello missed a little bit of the game as well, and Tom Massey broke his hand, played out the rest of the game, which is a great effort.
Tough.
Oh, absolutely. Normally a hard in and under midfielder, but played a fair bit on the outside, as you'd expect with a broken hand. But Tom Lamb, or Jed Lamb, absolutely superb again. Had a fair stack of the pill, Lockers.
How many games has Jed got to go? I think he'd only played 6, wasn't he? So he's probably played 4 or 5 now. So they might want to get the checkbook out, Bentley, and see if they can convince him to stay the second half of the year.
Certainly been a huge pickup, and Sammy Lewin continues his good form as well up forward.
You have to have your best team on the park. There's no bones about that. Everybody knows this. If a coach will know, I want your best players to choose from, and if you don't have them, especially if it's the top of the table tussles, you need them out there. It gets to this time of the season, doesn't it, Lockers, when it gets a little bit cold, blokes not necessarily rocking up to training all the time, and preparations is probably not there when it gets down the levels. Injuries take a toll, don't they? You can't mitigate against that, can you?
100%. You're only as strong as the depth you've got. And look, Bentley 2s up until last week were on top, so their depth's okay.
Yeah.
St Kilda City, you've still got one of the lucky teams that's got 19 still, so their depth will be okay. St Kilda City's problem is they're consistently inconsistent, if that's actually something you can be. They're good one week, not so good the next, so they've got a fair bit to sort out there, I think, if they want to play finals.
So, Will, and I'll go to you, mate. You've got Cheltenham, you've got Dingley, you've got St Paul's, you've got Port Melbourne. Let's just go with those for now. We'll throw Mordialloc into that mix as well. Who's got the stronger list, the depth? I mean, you look at and I keep going back to the Melbourne Football Club, not a lot of depth on the Melbourne Football Club at the moment. We know they've got a lot of injuries, aren't able to bring in guys that are more experienced. If this situation comes up with any of these teams, because we often see it, injuries, which one of those teams do you think's got the deepest list?
It's a choice of a couple. Cheltenham have got obviously 3 sides, so too the Dingoes. St Paul's as well. They've all got 3 senior sides that they can draw players from. Dingley's under 19s are going particularly well. There were quite a few under 19s that played some pretty good footy in both the 1s and 2s. So I like where they're getting their players from as well.
Dingley, 12-3-75, defeated Mordialloc 4-10-34. Poor showing from Mordialloc, the note that you've got here for me, Will. What's going on?
I didn't write that, but
someone did.
I'll throw John Donohoe under the bus.
Johnny!
You know what, it was actually a case of, they didn't have too many players that had their colours lowered, but they didn't really have enough players that, really shot the lights out. Dingley, on the other hand, Kristen Fenn played one of the all-time great games at centre-half-back. Bloody marked everything that was kicked in his direction. He would have had about 20 marks for the day. He was sensational. In fact, the one of the edicts from Mick Brown at quarter time was to stop kicking it in the direction of Chris Fenn. But it didn't matter where they kicked it, bloody Chris Fenn would pop up and just take a hanger. He was absolutely extraordinary.
In the mould of one of the McGovern boys, that type of mark, or were they just kicking it straight to him? Because the McGovern boys can take a good contested pack mark.
As a Collingwood supporter, I just got sick of them kicking it to McGovern last year, and it proved the difference. But he was definitely in that sort of mould. He was incredible. Dan Farmer kicked 5, Liam Hard kicked 4. They were really good. They stretched the Mordialloc defence. Lots of like from the Dingoes, but looking at the scoreline, 12-3 to 4-10 tells the difference. They had their opportunities, Mordialloc.
Pattern we spoke about last week, Morty inability to score. It's been 2 weeks in a row where I think they kicked the first 2 goals of this game and then kicked 2 for the rest of the game. So they've really got to find an avenue to goal. I think we spoke about it last week. They bombed the footy forward to centre, and they've got it clearly played into Pup Fiend's hands with 20 grabs or whatever he took. So yeah, they've got a bit of work to do, but no, they'll bounce back, I think.
Absolutely. Well, we are into the mid part of the season. Blokes either go away for a break, they have a weekend off, maybe, I don't know, but we're going to give them a report card. Each club gets an A or an F or a B or a C or a D or an E. I'm going to hand it over to you guys and you can go through each club. We don't want to spend too long on it, but give each club a report card rating, please.
Alrighty, so with obviously the Queen's birthday weekend, the time for all the clubs to go away and reassess and really reload for the back half of the year. We'll start with Bentley Lockers. What have you given them?
I've given them a C+ at this stage. We probably didn't expect a whole lot from them. The off-season they had more out than in, but they've been pretty good. They started slow, but they've gained momentum in the next last few weeks. Big test for them is the next 2 weeks. So they've got round 8, they've got Port Colts, which we know is tough, and then the week after, round 9, they've got East Malvern. So we'll know in about 21 days where they're at.
Absolutely, we've seen they've got an ability to really surprise sides. They've flown under the radar, as you said. So big test coming up. Next one, Cheltenham. I had them as an A, obviously sitting on top of the ladder. Traditionally, they start the season slow, but they've really come out of the blocks firing. A really good system and some great kids coming through. They're playing some exceptional footy. The only thing, as we spoke of, they've got some key outs. Mike Cook did his knee on Anzac Day.
Yep.
Jack Barclay did his knee over the weekend, and of course Josh Fox did his knee in the pre-season as well. So 3 key players you take out of that side, but their ability to cover them has been sensational.
Absolutely. As I said, kids, and that's what's got them the A. They were probably a B up until the weekend because they'd obviously lost to Dingley and Morty Alec previously, but they've now beaten one of the other contenders apparently in East Melbourne, so yeah, they're an A and looking fantastic at the moment.
Dingley, we had them at a B+.
B+, just chugging along nicely. Danny Aids had a rest on the weekend, had a wedding to go to, so yeah, they're going well. Got the depth, as we said, with the kids. The thing with Dingley is those players have played together for so long. They know their system, they know the way they're meant to go, they know each other inside and out. The village, they hang around together. They live in the village, they don't leave the village. So they're going to be hard to beat at the right time of the year, no doubt.
Their back 6 as well, absolutely extraordinary. Hard to find too many weaknesses.
100%, yep. Yeah, good depth all over the ground. So yeah, they're big and strong, so it's just going to be that speed. They've lost Jackson Pete for the year, which is a little bit of a concern for them, but if they can cover him off with a kid, no doubt they'll be there when the whips are cracking, as they say.
Absolutely. Now, one of the great disappointments from mine in season 2019, East Malvern, we've rated them a D.
Battling. It's a win-loss industry we're in, as they say, and 3 W's and 4 L's has got them against the ledger. So yeah, they can only be rated as a D, and they've got a big second half of the year to go. Look, interestingly, their 2s are on the top, and I think it's been since 1996 since their 2s have even been in finals. So they've got depth. They've probably got to start spinning the magnets and see if some of these kids in the 2s can play. They've
got the best ruck in the competition by a long way. So that automatically gives them, in my opinion, a leg up on the rest of the competition. But the frustrating thing from a pundit's point of view, and certainly from an East Malvern supporters' point of view, is their ability to really piss away some winnable games. I mean, some big leads that they've let go down the drain.
Very technical term, Will. Piss away.
Piss away. Yeah.
Do we really have to get hung up on? Do we really have to get hung up on semantics?
No, I just like that terminology. Piss away. You're right though. 100%. They can't play 120 minutes of footy. They're playing 80 minutes. I think every game they've lost, they've been up by 5 goals in each of them and given it away. So yeah, they've got to address those fade outs and either prevent them happening again, or it's going to be curtains in a couple of weeks for them.
That being said, I still reckon they've got the talent there on their list to do a bit of damage, but they really want to sort of tweak a few things and relaunch in the back half of the year.
100%.
Who's next?
We're at Height as a D. Unfortunately, look, we knew they were coming up. Great result last year, but I was pretty big on this that they were going to struggle.
Yep.
There's a fair delta between Division 1 and 2. Good on them for winning last year, but
must have brought a few apples to class for the teacher to get a D. Anyway.
Well, they won a game. They've been in games for a fair while. They didn't recruit massively over the off season. They got the big ruckman Macklin Rain in, and Dylan Ubiaki, Gribben Yui in. To be honest, sorry. But yeah, D's about the best you could rate them at this stage.
Trying hard, but unfortunately not enough top grade Division 1 stars to really challenge. Morty Alec, we've also rated a D. They've got a really good top end. They've got some really talented players on their list, but unfortunately, as you said, it's a win-loss. It's a win-loss business, which is why Brendan Bolton, our man's been gassed, been given the Chaminda bars.
Boned.
No depth, unfortunately.
No, it's a real problem at Morty. No depth, and unfortunately for them, there's a lot of hype around them over pre-season. Obviously, getting Ryan Semmelin, who without doubt is one of the best players in the competition. He's upholding his end of the bargain. I think he's been named in their best every single game this year. So he's doing well. Their inability to score may really come back and haunt them. And they've got a massive month of footy in front of them. They do get Rhett Sutton, I believe, after the bye, who's one of their big recruits. But it'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to get up and running. But I wouldn't want to be at Morty Alec if they don't play finals.
And Summons is obviously back in the side, a handy inclusion. But similar to East Malvern, rated D purely on the fact that we expected a bit more from them, and they've certainly got the talent to go a long way. D minus Oakley District, similar to Oakley, similar to Hyatt. Not enough Division 1 stars, and around about where we expected them to finish, unfortunately. But a couple of positives to take out of it.
Yeah, look, Jake Mullen's playing fantastic. He had a slow start to the season. He travelled a little bit and didn't do a lot of the pre-season, but he's going really well. Jake Carosella has had a great start to the year. He's probably just dropped off a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but he's an 18-year-old kid, so every game he plays is a bonus. Still getting a little bit out of guys like Dave Villado, who's been around a million years. So, look, it's not all doom and gloom for Oakley Districts. They probably knew coming into this year it was going to be a tough year for them. Again, it's going to be Oakley and Hyde at this stage trying to fight off that relegation to stay up in Division 1. But look, there are definitely some positives on both sides.
Absolutely. Port Colts, I've given them a B+. Lockers, some real gun recruits that have come into that side, and they're playing some pretty good footy. If you look at where they were now as opposed to where they were last year, massive improvement, and they're right in the mix.
Absolutely, good recruits. Obviously, we've spoken about them. A couple of old soldiers back in Justin Taylor and Brad Sutcliffe, who've been great players for Port Colts part in the previous years. Chris DeLuca, we've spoken about. He's a real gun at the competition. The big ruckman Della DeBeo, going well. Hasn't he's just got to keep his cool in check. Apparently, can be a little bit fiery, but that's all good.
I'd like to see that in a ruckman.
Interesting though, second half year. This time last year they were going okay as well and really dropped away, so it's still all for them to do.
The only question mark I have is they could maybe potentially get unstuck on the big grounds, which obviously Springvale, where they will have played the last few final series, might come unstuck, but really like what I'm seeing from the Colts. St Kilda City, C minus?
C minus for me. Again, you look at the ins and outs, they've recruited a heap of players again, they always do. They kept some of their stars, Aaron Purvis, Cam Hansen, to name a couple. Again, it's just their inconsistency kills them. Every year they're up and down. You always hear that the training numbers aren't so high, they're good some weeks, not so other weeks. So they've got to find some consistency. All they're doing, they're just behaving in this mediocrity of just nothing, really. Yep. They're half there.
Yep.
They've got to jump in or jump out.
Spot on. And finally, St Paul's, B+. They are running as expected, doing exactly what they need to do in their premiership defence.
Purring, I like to say. They're purring along beautifully.
All right, well done, boys. That's fantastic. That was the report card, the mid-season report card. We'll move now to the ladder after round 7. There's 7 rounds of football being played, and as you had it there, Cheltenham on top, you've given them an A, and of course they deserve it, being right there. Dingley a B+, St Paul's with a B+. Port Melbourne also on a B-. They're doing quite nicely up the top there. You got something to say there, Will?
Yeah, we could almost split these, and Lockers and I have into, 4 tiers for the remainder of the season. So the tier 1 being the flag favourites and the top 3 sides in it. Cheltenham, Dingley, St Paul's, Lockers, that's where the Premier's going to come from, I think.
At this stage, you'd have to say that. Then the next tier, you've probably, I've personally got Port Colts, Morty Alec and probably East Malvern fighting out for that those last 2 spots in the finals. They could all go up and down. They could all compete if they can find some consistency.
But you compete for the Premiership, you mean?
They could if they have a good second half year. They're not too far out of it. They're only a couple of games behind the top, but they'd need to turn their forms around, all 3. Or Port obviously keep improving, as we've spoken about.
Definitely got the talent to be able to do so, those 3 sides. So watch with interest. Tier 3, we can almost put them in the bracket that, you know what, they could possibly push for finals, but more than likely might have them just outside in Bentley and St Kilda City. And of course, the Tier 4, the two sides, I reckon, locked in the relegation battle, sitting at 1 and 6, Highett and Oakley District.
All right, top shelf. Let's have a look at the team of the week for the best from round 7. You guys can run through it all the way from the back line to the rucks and into the interchange.
Alrighty, starting from the back line, Nick Barry from East Malvern, Tyron Bonnet, the veteran from Port Melbourne Colts, continuing to have a blinder of a season, and Brandon Turner from Bentley, my man, having had a great game on the weekend as well.
It's Caulfield, Will.
Good man, Bristle.
Half back line, Daniel Vaughan, outstanding again. We spoke about Chris Feen early, 20 marks, that's always going to get you in the team of the week. And young Lockie Nash on a half back flank for Security City.
In the centre line, Tyler Jones for Port Melbourne Colts on the wing, Jed Lamb right in the guts had a blinder, and Max Kilner, you like the look of him from Cheltenham on the other wing.
Terrific little headband, played on the wing, got lots of footy. There's always been a bit of a question mark about his kicking ability, but yeah, from what I saw Saturday, used it well. He definitely has a little go. Tough little competitor, so fantastic from Maxi. Half forward line, Matty Kremborg again, Harry Hunt, centre half forward, another bag of 5, and Liam Hard, 4 goals again for the Dingoes, playing great footy in the long sleeve, number 2 Guernsey.
Don't mind the longie, we've been through this. The forward line, Tom Harley from Port Melbourne Colts had a nice little bag on the weekend. Will McTaggart, from the Chelt Spearhead, leading the goal kicking with 29. He just keeps getting it done each week, and Dan Farmer another bag as well in the other pocket.
Will McTaggart is a man mountain. That's the best way to put him. He's a big boy, and I think it's taken 3 years to realise he's just a full forward, and a damn good one at that. He was fantastic, and he's an unbelievable set shot at goal. Highly skilled, so yeah, well done to Will. In the rucks, we've got Mitch Smart. He's been knocking on the door for several weeks. Gets his spot this week. He's just an absolute competitor. Dylan Weikart kicked two absolute classy goals you'd expect from a classy player on the weekend to really. If it wasn't all over in the 5-minute mark of the last quarter, it was when he kicked a sensational goal out of the middle. And Paul Fry from East Malvern was clearly their best midfielder on the weekend.
And rounding up the bench, Sam Lewin from Bentley had a blinder on Ralph Clark on the weekend, and unfortunately Harry Hunt pipped him for that centre half forward spot. Chris Horton-Milne, my man, continues to get the job done, had another good one on the weekend. Ryan Semmel was probably the best for Morty, and Jake Wood had a really good game in the guts for the Colts.
You're nearly back on even keel with Chris Horton-Milne, aren't you now? Nearly back.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Have to get Odgie on the show too.
Nicely done, boys. Let's move on to round 8. We'll be brought to you, as always, by Melsafe. There'll be no games this weekend. Queen's birthday. If you've got nothing to do on Monday, why don't you get down to the MCG and support a worthy cause? Melbourne Football Club. No, support a worthy cause. Fight MND. Neil Danaher, what a great man. Continues to make a lot of money for that hideous beast of a disease we know as motor neuron disease. Raised so much money so far. This year will be no different because people will be sliding down into that ice. It's cold enough outside as it is Will at the moment. And if you're cold, why don't you get online now and buy one of those Freeze MND beanies. They are doing some wonderful things down at that organisation as they fight for a world with no MND. Let's get into this round, boys. East Melbourne versus Highett in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I reckon this will be a one-way traffic. I think East Malvern, after their disappointing loss, will really look to make a statement here and defeat Highett comfortably.
Agree, Will. I have to go with you. You're the tipping expert. Yeah, East Malvern, too good.
Bit of head wobble.
The next game looks to be an absolute cracker. St Paul's versus Cheltenham. How are we going to go with this one?
Oh boy, this will be an absolute cracker, no doubt about that. St Paul's, they're flying. Cheltenham, they're also flying. Big deck, 2 good sides. Every time I pick against St Paul's, at St Paul's, it bites me on the bottom. So I will go St Paul's to defeat the ladder leaders.
Ooh.
I'm sticking with you, Will. St Paul's at home.
What have you just written down there?
I've maybe said draw, but I won't go the draw. That's a little bit controversial. Could be a draw.
All right, we'll move on to the next one. This could be a cracker too. What a round of football this is going to be. Port Melbourne 4th playing Bentley 6th. Port Melbourne at home, you would have thought?
They play that ground particularly well, very small. Bentley, the bye could not have come at a better time for them. Might be able to get a few players back. They've got a mounting injury list, same too for Port Colts. I think Sutcliffe's not far off a return for the Colts. He's had a couple of hammy issues, but I think Port Colts will be too strong for Bentley.
I'm with you again, Will.
Jeez.
Port Colts again at home, to be honest. Yeah, see how we go.
Not going to catch up that way, mate. Going with Will. And anyway, we'll move on to the next game. St Kilda City versus Morty Alec. St Kilda 8th, Morty Alec 5th. Could be another close game.
I might get you to kick this one off, just so you're not just copying my tips.
Different. I'm not copying your tips, Will. I can assure you of that. Look, the power breakers at Mordialloc will get them fired up. If they lose Mordialloc, Wayne Fuller will be on the absolute march, path of destruction, looking for blood. I'll say the Bloods, even though it's at the Peanut Farm, in a close game.
Tough place to play footy, the Farm. They're normally pretty good there, City. But, 100% right. Mordialloc should win this. If there are any chance to play finals, they will win this.
So someone that doesn't know, it's the Farm, why? Because of the supporters?
A little bit, yep. And there is actually a little sort of cottage farm next door where people, like one of those farmers' gardens where people go buy a little block of dirt and plant their beetroot stalks and so on, or whatever they plant there.
And
St Kilda could be something else in St Kilda they're planting.
Yeah, right, eating some peanuts. Okay, moving on to the next one, and the last one to round us out. You would have thought Dingley, travelling to Oakley districts, would get the job done there.
Yeah, comfortably. They're flying Dingley. They played some real good footy over the weekend. Hard to see Oakley District kicking a winning score against that Dingley back six.
Yep, Dingley comfortably.
All right, now something that has been, something that is very interesting. I mean, we've got some close games and some really good games to watch in a couple of weeks' time, but this competition at the moment is really taking my interest, it's sparking my interest. It is the tipping between these two lads. Will, who is 5 out of 5 from last week, as it started last week. Lockers last week, 1 from 5. Now, you had a bet.
Solid.
You had a bet between you that it would be a 6-pack. Sorry to say, Lockers, you are down, my friend. You owe Will.
1 6-pack down. But we're going to keep it riding.
You're going to keep rolling?
Right. Do it again. Yeah. So I might have to get a Carlton United truck in by the end of it.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun last show if we roll the truck in.
Okay, well done, boys. So the results of last week's games, let's run through it. Cheltenham versus East Melbourne. It was. We've already done this. We don't need to talk about that. You've got the win. You're happy with that. In fact, why don't you make it a Social Beast beer? That's another beer. That's David Neatz's branded beer.
Is it?
Some of that money gets donated to the Fight MND cause.
Oh, we'll do that.
Another reminder, get down to the Queen's birthday game at the MCG to watch Collingwood take on Melbourne. It's Collingwood's home game. Should be a ripper. And I tell you what, in a couple of weeks...
Should we put a 6-pack on it?
On Melbourne and Collingwood, because you're a Collingwood man. I should have known that just by looking at you, you're a Collingwood man. The fact that I brought my avocado in on their little platter over here too tells me that I'm a Melbourne man.
Got a full set of chocolates.
I'm not putting any money on, or any bets on Melbourne. Actually, why not? Why not? I'll put another. Do you need beer? Do you need any more beer?
It's not a case of need, it's a case of want, mate.
I might get you a man shake or something like that. Just something that's going to help you.
6-pack of man shakes.
That has been the GameFace Footy Show for the Southern Football Netball League Division 1. What a show it's been. Thanks very much, Lockers.
Very good. Good to be here again.
Good on you, mate. And thanks, Will, to you. We'll see you next week.
As always.
As always. Have a good weekend of football, wherever you are. Stay safe. We'll see you back here on the GameFace Footy Show as we look to do round 8. It's coming up pretty quick. This season is flying by. And I just can't seem to end this show. Just say goodbye, Robbo.
Just stop
Bye.